Hey guys, got the carburetor here for the 5665, and you remember that the throttle shaft was all worn out. So just to show you guys, I was able to get the throttle shaft out, and sometimes it's tough because there's these two little screws here that hold on the plate, and usually those screws are pretty shot. But I was able to get these out. I just heated them up real quick with my torch for like 10 seconds and they came right out. And I think I got lucky there, but I want to show you what I'm going to do here, which is pretty good. And just to illustrate this again, the shaft goes in the hole and there's all kinds of play in there. All kinds of play. You see that? And it's hard to see, but there you go, that's a better angle. All kinds of play in that shaft, back and forth. So this hole is cast right into the carburetor. This is a Walbro carb, not a Kohler/Carter carb. And what that means is that the Kohler carb has a little bushing that you can pop out on the top here and press a new one in. This one doesn't. So some of you guys may have seen this website online by this guy named Brian Miller. I think it's gardentractorpullingtips.com, and he has a company called A1 Miller Performance Enterprises where I was able to get this little bronze bushing from. So what we're going to do is basically we're going to drill out that hole and press this bushing in there, which will now create a tight fit on our throttle shaft. So just for illustration purposes, we put this bushing on our shaft and it will tighten us up here. So that's really what we got to do. And hopefully that will allow me to get this bad boy back into business here and make this into a usable carburetor once again. But that's where we're at here. The other Kohler carb uses this little tiny bushing like this. And it works the same way, but you just pop the old one out and press this one in, and then you're in pretty good shape. So that's what we're going to do. We've actually got to drill out this hole here and press this in. So I'm just going to use the drill press. Now he says that you can't use a drill press, that you've got to what do you call it, machine it, but I don't have any capabilities to machine it, so we're using the drill press, and you know, we'll see what happens. Well, upon further inspection, the throttle shaft is too far worn. I don't know if you're going to see this on the camera or not, but right up here where it interfaces with this tab, there's a ridge there. You can see it from this direction. There's a little ridge. And oh, you can really see it on this side here, but there's a noticeable ridge there. And what that means is I just measured it, and down here in this area where we go in that bushing, it's supposed to be a 1/4 inch, so it'd be like 0.25, and maybe there's a hair of a gap there just so that it's not in a tight fit, so maybe it's, you know, 2.4 or something, but down here it measures at 0.227. Up there where that ridge is, where the good diameter is, it's 247. So down here we're like 0.002 under where it should be. So what does that mean? It means that my bushing isn't going to do anything for us because the shaft is the problem. I bought this bushing for $3, so I'm not really bent out of shape. It was worth the gamble, but when I put the shaft in this bushing, it's very wobbly. Like, look, see that play? So that's what the issue is. And if I snug the bushing up tight to that little bit of ridge, it's nice up there, but if I was to put this in there, see all that slop, I'd be in no better shape than I am right now. So unfortunately, what I need to do is find a throttle shaft here from this Walbro carb, and I'm not sure if they even make that part or not. it may be easier to find a used carb. And that really sucks. Big time, by the way. But nonetheless, we'll get this thing back together at some point in time. Just not today. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a 1/4-inch drill bit, put it in this hole backwards so that the shank portion's in there. And I'm going to see, you know, how much wobble there would be if the bushing was just left the same and a new shaft was put in. So here's a 1/4-inch drill bit. Yeah, and even if I put that in there, this thing is still sloppy. You can see that. You see how sloppy that is? So the hole is definitely egg-shaped, but clearly the throttle shaft is part of the problem also. It's not just this hole. And, you know, I guess if I was to take that bushing back here and then attempt to put the drill bit in the bushing, look how nice that is. It's actually very snug. It's actually perfect. So if I was able to get a new throttle shaft and put this bushing in there, this thing will work really good. So for now, I think I'm actually going to machine the bushing into the carb, but again, we're going to have to find a new throttle shaft. So I'm just going to use my little drill press there, and we need a 5/16 inch hole. So I'm actually going to start with a bit that's a little bit bigger than 1/4 and work my way up to the 5/16. And the key is that you got to keep it centered so that it's in line with the hole on the bottom of the carb, where the bottom of the throttle shaft pivots. Otherwise your shaft will be at an angle when you need it to be perfectly square to this. So it's very crucial that you drill that hole in the right spot. Otherwise it's going to be no good. So we'll do that. Now it's hard to get this thing in the vise the right way because my vise really isn't big enough to get around the bowl on the carb. So I'm doing the best that I can to get it level and plumb in here. And it's a challenge, to be honest with you. It's a challenge. So I think that this is the best I can do. And I've got a 29-piece drill bit set, and it has 4 sizes between 1/4 inch and 5/16. So I'm just going one at a time. Yeah, I'm just doing the best that I can, and trying to keep it so that it's still true to the bottom hole. So now I'm going to be up to 19/64 now. Will be my next drill bit here. I'll get that one mounted in. Okay, so we'll do this one. Okay, one more left, which is the 5/16. I'm just going to put my bushing over this hole for now. And yeah, it's real close, so that 5/16 should get us right into the money. Now, I've heard of guys putting Loctite around the bushing before they press it in. I don't know if that's really necessary or not, but it probably doesn't hurt. It should just be a press fit with a little hair of interference. So if that's the case, then you should be good, you know. But I'm going to do this, and, you know, yeah, we're going to be a little bit of interference there, which is perfect. So what I might do before I drill this 5/16 is I'm actually going to take a block of wood. I'm just going to drill a little hole in this block of wood to test this out and make sure that we're actually going to be like the right settings here. Let me just drill through this block of wood. Of course, the table's not high enough. Let's try that again. Just see what happens. If I, oh yeah, that's perfect. If I try to push my bushing in there, it's just ever so snug. So that's exactly what I need. So let's get this carb back over here and lined up again. And we'll do one final hole. And we should be in business here. So I'll just try to get it firmed in there. There we go. Perfect. There we go. So, take this out of this little vise. And yeah, that's really cool. So, we got a nice hole in there. Now we got a round hole too. And we got our bushing, which is just ever so snug. Now, when I watched the video of this guy doing another one, he had the other type of bushing, but what he actually did is, he actually took a drill bit, like say this 1/4-inch job, and he actually put that in his drill press, and he actually used the drill press like it was a little press to push this in. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but he basically brought it way up there and just pushed it in with the chuck, but that's not going to work. My drill bit's too long. I'll try it without a drill bit. I'll just turn this. I could use a 1/4-inch bolt. That would work. So if I take a 1/4-inch bolt, let's see, I've got a little bolt that's just a little bit like this. I just put this in there. Basically, I give it a couple taps with a hammer is one thing I could do, but I think I'm going to borrow this other guy's technology, which is this. So what he did is he turned his chuck down like this, and he basically took his drill press, get the vise out of the way, put this table back up. Let's see. Oops. Stupid thing. He basically used this as a little press. So he took it and he just held this in. There you go. Look at that. Perfect. Push that bushing in flush. We'll pull our bolt out. Bada boom. Now, if I take that 1/4-inch drill bit again, where did I put the 1/4-inch? Where did I put that thing? There it is. If I take that 1/4-inch drill bit now, put it in there, we got a nice fit. So once we get that new bushing, we should be in great shape here. So, and this is my drill bit set. So I had 1/4-inch, 17/64, 9/32, 19/64 to 5/16. So I've got quite a bit of little bits there to put through. So if I take that throttle shaft now, just to illustrate that it's still the shaft and not the bushing, if I put that in there now, we still got play. I actually probably could use this if I can't find a new shaft, but there's still play. Is it as bad as it was? No, it's not. And actually, I may just use this and say the hell with it. It's a lot better than it was, I'll tell you that much. Is it perfect? No. But is it way better? Yes. There we go. There's the looseness. So I think I'm going to blow these chips out of here with the compressor, and then we'll retest it and see what we got. Now, after putting that bushing in, I actually am happy with this. I'm going to go with it. There's a little bit of play, but nothing like there used to be. Oh no, it's still there. It's still there. A lot better than it was, but again, there's still play. So whether it's enough that the tractor will idle now, it might be. Because actually when I turn it towards idle, it's pretty tight. But when I loosen it up to full throttle, it's got all the play in it. Yeah, I need a new throttle shaft. There's no way around it. I'm just getting lucky. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to start it because it's shot ski. All right. We'll be back another day, but at least we learned how to rebush a Walbro Carb. And hopefully I can get that stupid shaft because I think that they don't make them. But, you know, at the end of the day, I see you can buy like these aftermarket carbs for like 55 or 75 bucks. So I'd like to fix this one though, just to say I fixed it. So we'll check back in.